Are you ready to make these cute little Christmas tree cake earrings? I hope so. Christmas tree cakes. What would the holiday season be now without them? So today, welcome. This is Kristen here with Enchanted Yarnworks. Today, we're going to make some fun Christmas tree cake earrings. If that sounds interesting to you, please hang around. Make sure you're subscribed and that notification bell is dinged so that you get notifications when all my videos come out. And please consider hitting that like button to show me some love. So without further ado, go ahead and hang out with me today and let's get started on making these adorable Christmas tree cake earrings. Are you ready to make these cute little Christmas tree cake earrings? I hope so. So what we need today are 1.5 millimeter crochet hook. I have an ergonomic one here. You could use the regular aluminum ones. 2 pair of jewelry pliers, or preferably pliers that aren't, filthy from the garage so that they don't damage or dirty your work. We need a fishhook type earring or whatever you prefer. I mean, sometimes those latch hooks are preferred, so whatever you like. We have a 5 millimeter and a 3 millimeter jump ring. I'll move these over here so that they don't get slid off of my table. And our colors, we need a white. I'm using my Hobby Lobby little sample set that I have here. So this is number 10 crochet thread, all 3. White, so this is porcelain from the Hobby Lobby Artiste collection. The green for the decorating the little sprinkles, and then the garland. The green is color grass. And the red is poppy red. So those are what we're going to be using today. So just to go ahead and get started, here we go. So what we need to do first is we are working from the top down. That's how we're working this, all in one piece. And we do need to make 2 pieces, so a front and back. So my suggestion is to go ahead and make the the front first, and then we'll decorate the front. Make the back. Don't tie it off because then we're going to do our edging. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. What we need is our slip knot, and I'm okay with leaving tails because it makes things easier to. Oh, we also need a tapestry, a small needle, not really a tapestry needle, just a needle that our crochet thread will fit through the eye with, and that's not too thick and nice and pointy, so that we can kind of seam in our ends. So, okay, so we need to do a chain 2. So now, and then for this, we're going to do a yarn under method to give us a tighter stitch pattern so that it's not, loose and holey and what have you. It gives us a firmer texture. So that is, in case you're curious, yarn under, yarn over. Why, what's the point? Okay, so slip knot. Actually, I'm going to keep that slip knot loose because I don't really want that knot in the end. So I'm going to hold it. So that's going to technically be my chain 1. And then here's my chain 2. So now I'm going back into this beginning and yarning over to do a single crochet, like so. And then that's my first row, and then a chain 1. So now I can pull this, and it's not going to give me an ugly knot at the end. It's going to give me a nice point. I hope that makes sense. So now we're turning, and we are working in this stitch here because I did our chain 1, it's our turning chain. So we're doing an increase. So yarning under. In case you're curious, yarning over is where you wrap this direction. Yarn under is where you pretty much just put your yarn or your thread underneath your hook and pull through like so. Okay, So an increase is what we're doing, and that is our 2 yarn under single crochets in that same stitch, like that. Now we can keep pulling this one tight and it'll close up. So now we need to chain 1 and then turn. And now we're doing 2 increases. So we have 2 stitches here because we did our increase. I'm going to do an increase in both of those to give us a total of 4 stitches. So 1, 2, and now in the next, 3, and 4. Okay, so then chain 1 and turn. So now we have 4 stitches. So we're going to do an increase in our first, 2 single crochets, and then an increase in our last to give us a total of 6 single crochets. 1, 2, first increase, and now a single, 3, and another single, 4, and then an increase in our last stitch here. There's our first, so 5, and here is 6. Okay, so then a chain 1 and turn. And now we are just going to do 6 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here is 6. Okie dokie. So this here is going to be our first tier of our tree. So it is this top section here. So next we are going to kind of come back a little bit to kind of work on our second tier. So what we're going to do, no chain, is we're going to skip this first stitch, and we're just going to come straight over into our second and do a slip stitch just like that. And that kind of gives us that nice little edge there to start our corner. All right, so now we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to work in the same space. Okay, and we are single crocheting 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that leaves us 2 corner ends here that are from the top. All right, so now we're chaining 1 and turning. We're going to increase. So 1 and 2 in that first stitch. And now 3 and 4 separately. So a single crochet and then a single crochet in the next 2. So 3, 4, and then our last stitch we are increasing to give us 6, 5, and here are our 6. All right, so now we are chaining 1 and turning. So what we're doing essentially is increasing on our ends and doing singles in the middle. So we're going to increase to 8. So we have an increase in our first stitch. So 1, whoops, 2, and then 4 in the middle, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then our increase in the end for 7 and 8. Okay, chain, turn, and do the same thing. We're increasing to 10. So 2 in the first, 2, and then single crochet 6, 7, 8, and then our last is an increase to 10, 9, and here's 10. And that's the last of our increases in our second tier. So we're going to chain 1 and turn and do 10 across. And 10. Okay. So now turning, and we are doing the last tier, which means we do have to come back again to inset. Okay. So we're not chaining. And we are going to skip again that first stitch and go straight into the second and do a slip stitch, like so. And then a chain 1, single crochet in the same space, and 8 total across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so now chain 1, and we're doing the increasing. So increase on the end, 1 and 2, and we're working back up to 10. Okay, so 6 singles across, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9 and 10 in that last stitch. There we go. Chain 1, turn, increase to 12. So increase the first stitch. 1, 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and increase 11 and 12 in the last stitch. Okay, chain 1, turn, increasing to 14. So 2 on this end, 10 in the middle, and 2 on the other end. Okay, 2 on this end, 13 and 14. All right, so chain 1, and then we're just going across for 14. here is 14. Okay, so here is the main part. Okay, so now we are going to turn and work our way to the trunk. So we're just going to slip stitch 5 across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so then now we are doing 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oops. Chain 1, turn, and back 4. There we go. So now I'm going to cut this and tie this off. Gonna leave a bit of a tail, not too long because I'm just going to. So what I'm going to do with this now is I'm going to weave these ends in, and we can start decorating the top, and then I will make a second one, and then we'll put them together. So you definitely want to make sure that your needle has a large enough eye that your thread will go through. I just bought a little set of Singer needles from Amazon. They have different sizes and it works great. I kind of use one over here with that. So I can link that down below with my hooks and my jewelry findings and what have you, if you'd like. Disclaimer, I am an Amazon associate, so if you do choose to purchase anything from those links, I will receive a thank you commission from them. You are not paying anything extra, so do not worry about that. If you decide to go that route, I want to say thank you in advance. If you don't, that's okay too. Okay. It does come with a needle threader, actually, which I just saw in there. So if you need assistance with threading your needles, that'll help. So I'm going to go ahead and weave this in. I will be right back, and then we will start to decorate on here with our colors. Okay, so I've decided that this is going to be the front side opposed to this side. And we're going to do the icing garland first with the red, which is Poppy Red in the Artiste Cotton collection from Hobby Lobby. Use whatever is available to you, by all means. So what we are doing with this is we're just going to do surface crochet. So I'm making a little slip knot here. Okay. And so we're going to start at the top and work our way down. So I'm just going into where I want this to start. And you do this however you want. So my goal is 5 strands. Okay. I'm going to pull this loop up. Like so. Just like this. Okay. And then I go into a space that I want to go to next. And then I just grab, and it's like slip stitching across. Really, that's pretty much what it is. Just going through your piece that you're working on. Now I kind of want to not go super far over into the edges because we are going to need to have that available to stitch it across. So there's our first one. Now pull that up just a tiny bit, and what I'm going to do is come back over here from the back side and just pull this loop down like so to the back, like that. And I'm just gonna loop and make kind of a knot on this side. Okay, cut this out and just tighten that up a little bit back here. And later we're going to kind of stitch that down a little bit before we move on. So repeat, make a slip knot. I like to make it beforehand and then go through from the front. So where do I want this? So this one kind of starts here at this spot here. So that's where I'm going to go in. Grab my slip knot and pull to the front. So I'm going to go right here next to it. Just like that. And you can kind of make this flow however you want it to. Sideways, crooked, zigzag, whatever your heart's desire, because this is your creative flow and your creativity. Okay, so there is that going that way. And let's do one more over here. I know I said not to get too close to the edge, but I don't know. Okay, and then knot back here. Pull that tight. Okay. So next one is about halfway. So we're going to go right here. So this one's going to kind of zigzag down a little and come down here. But that's my goal with this. Let's see. I'm not worried about catching those tails in the back, because if they ended up being stitched down a little bit, I'm okay with that. All right, where are we at here? All right, so I'm just going to pull this from the back right here in the next open stitch. There we go. Pull a knot. Okay. And then the next one starts about here, and it's going to come all the way down this way. I am not worried about it being perfectly the same. I'm not worried about it being, specific lines, because garland is garland, and the icing drizzle is never exactly perfect, right? So this is what we're going to do. Do want to trim some of these a little bit. Just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. Not too much, but they are getting long. And then our last one is going to work about through here. All right, here is our icing garland. I'm going to pause real quick because I want to just kind of slide and weave some of these guys back through just the back side of these stitches so the red doesn't show through from the front, but so that I can control the crazy. So I'll be right back before we start the green sprinkles. All right, beautiful. So I went a little, I feel, crazy on the green sprinkles on this first earring, although my daughter says it's perfect. So do your sprinkles however you feel you want them to be, okay? So that it makes you happy. I mean, if you like sprinkles, sprinkle it up. If you don't like sprinkles, maybe a couple here and there. If you really don't like sprinkles and you just want it like this, perfectly fine. No big deal. So all we're doing for our sprinkles is just making little lines in whatever direction we feel like, okay? So I'm making kind of a long tail here because I'm going to be working it, throughout, up and down. And I don't want to have to re-thread or any of that. So there's my first sprinkle. Like I said, do it whatever makes you happy, however you are comfortable for the sprinkles, okay? Okay, I think that's good for sprinkles. What do you think? Yep, so I'm gonna go ahead and tie these guys off, and then we get to put this together. Okay, so I have the back complete, and I did not cut the tail because we're going to continue by surface crocheting, slip stitching, all the way around. So what you want to do next is you want to kind of compare your edges and you want to line up, make sure which side is which so they're kind of even. just like that. So as you see, I don't know if you noticed when I had it this way, so I have a flat side here, and that's a pointy side. This side's flatter, so I just flipped it back over, and they line up quite perfectly. Okay, so keeping that loop there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in this corner here, like so, and I'm going to pull this loop through to the front. That's what I'm going to do, like that. Now we're really just sandwiching this throughout. So going through both sides and pulling up and doing a slip stitch. That is really all that I am doing. Going to be doing all the way around. Just like that. Kind of go in and enhance your corners there by doing a couple different stitches in there if you want. Oops. Let me zoom out just a tiny bit. Just like that, as you see. And you can kind of just use the same stitches that are already there. You just go into the holes. It makes it easier that way. Just like so. But I definitely want to make sure that they line up in about the same places. That keeps it from twisting or getting wonky. Okay, so now at the top point, as we've gotten up here, we want to do a chain 2 and then go into that same point again. This chain 2 is going to give us a loop that we can use for our jump rings. Okay, so we're at the last couple corners around here. So we are back all the way around. I'm going to trim this up with a tail. I like how doing that slip stitch edging to sandwich it gives it kind of more of the authentic Christmas tree cake look, and it gives that nice edge. So it's kind of thicker because you know those little cakes are a little chunky. So then just going to sew this in. Okay, the last thing we have to do is put on our earring hook. And then we're ready. They'll be ready to wear. Woohoo! So, our pliers and our jump rings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this itty bitty one first onto the earring hook. Find my opening. There it is. So if this is your first time doing jewelry or anything with jump rings, you there's always a cut end opening, and what you want to do is you don't want to pull like straight apart. You just want to twist like so, because that helps with the integrity of the metal. It'll stay, it won't loosen it up and cause damage. And then you just twist it back, just like that. Okay. All right, so then we need our bigger one, and that is going to loop right into the chain 2 that we made. Okay, right here in the front. I'm sorry. Like so. And then we'll put our hook on, make sure it's facing the right direction, which in this case is towards the back. And go ahead and grab and then twist. And there we go. All finished. Now we have a pair of cute Christmas tree cake earrings. These are so fun, aren't they? I absolutely hope you love them and will make them and wear them and adore them. I enjoy wearing them. They're super cute, super fun. Seeing as that I am now gluten-free, I can no longer eat these lovely Christmas tree cakes, and I used to love them. I don't know if they're any good still, but that's okay. So here's how I get my Christmas tree cakes in now. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are not currently subscribed, please consider doing so and making sure that notification bell is dinged so that you become aware when my next videos come out. If you like this video, please smash that like button and show me some love. I would greatly appreciate that. And I want to give you a huge thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a very, very wonderful holiday season, whatever holiday you celebrate. And again, thanks for hanging out with me today, and I hope to see you in my next video.